It is trade season.
Ooh.
So why not fire up the old trade machine, Forsberg? And that's where we're going to go today for Forsberg's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you want to start? Who do you like as the Celtics potentially try to strengthen what is already possibly the best roster in the NBA?
So let me set it up with a preamble, is that, sometimes I get worried. Like, I don't know if the team needs to make a move this year. Like, in past years, I felt like if they were going to make a launch last year, they needed to move forward. They needed to go get a Derek White and be better. But this year, I think you could just kind of cobble it through what you've got. I don't know if people out there are going to be better, but that's no fun. That doesn't make a good TV segment. So I went and found 4 guys that I would be willing to make trades for, that I think can help this roster, maybe help this team now and deeper into the future. And it starts with Naz Reid up in Minnesota. One of my favorite players. I love his energy. I love the size. I love that he can help you on both ends. Look at that. I mean, Can you imagine, Giles? Because I might lose my mind if I got to watch Robert Williams and Naz Reid tag teaming in the same front court. I would love it. Now you're telling me, Forsberg, Karl-Anthony Towns has been injured. Naz Reid was a starter, had a great December. Why would the Minnesota Timberwolves even consider this?
Yeah, why would the
Well, they have
Timberwolves
1,000 bigs, and when Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert are healthy, and you're going to pay them a combined $77 million next year. So Naz Reid is going to be a free agent coming off a rookie contract. You're not going to pay him. You also have Kyle Anderson that you just signed as a free agent last offseason. So Celtics swoop in and say, hey, take this nice Peyton Pritchard, salaries match, maybe sweeten it a little bit, I don't know. And then you get another big who helps you navigate the season, and potentially you can re-sign. Let's say this. I don't think Naz Reid is going to go above the mid-level money next year. But if you did sign him at, say, $10 million per season, you still have 3 bigs, Al, Rob, and Naz Reid, at something like $31 million.
That's a bargain. They have so many big men, actually, Minnesota. I was watching a random game a couple weeks ago, and Luka Garza was going.
Yes!
And I was like, he's on Minnesota, too? It's crazy. All right, who you got at number 2?
All right, number 2 is P.J. Washington from the Charlotte Hornets. And so, look, the Hornets are a hot mess. Fire sale is coming. I don't know which guys they're going to move out, and PJ could be one that they might want to retain, but he's heading for a restricted free agency, and we just saw this with Rui Hachimura. There are opportunities to get these guys at low cost because you just don't know what's going to happen. So if Charlotte's sitting there and going, look, we're not going to be good for 3-4 more years, we're probably going to tank and go for Wembanyama and all that, then maybe they want to just kind of move and get assets while they can. And I would throw Jalen McDaniels in this conversation as well, young players that I just don't know what Charlotte's plan is, which is probably why they're so bad as it is. But P.J. Washington, another undersized big, which I don't love because you already have Grant. The thing is, you could stretch the floor a little bit with him. I think he would thrive in a situation like this and playing on a better team and playing with better spacing. And so I do think he's sort of also the guy that could replace Al further down the road as a starter. And I think you'd have to go maybe a little bit more single big. Maybe it's Rob and PJ but you figure that stuff out. I just think it's a low-cost player that you could potentially go get. So on my radar.
I do like the fact that he does continue to stretch the floor there, and he do provide some three-point shooting as well. He can still bring that element to the lineup when he's out there. Who do you got at number 3?
All right, number 3 is Alec Burks from the Pistons. I almost forgot my own list. So the Pistons are another team. I have no bleep.
They were supposed to be competitive this year.
What is their plan? I have no idea. So I'm just going over their roster, and Burks makes the most sense because he's a veteran guy who is actually having a very good season, shooting, I think, a career best beyond the 3-point arc, and averaging something like 12 points per game. He'd be the perfect sort of another wing to help offset what Jalen and Jason are playing, maybe bring their minute total down during the year. I don't know how much of a role he would play in the postseason, but there would be a chance. So why not investigate something like that? I will say the one I really wanted to put in there was Saddiq Bey, and maybe make up for a couple years ago when you should have just drafted Saddiq Bey. And yet, I have no idea what the Pistons are doing. Maybe they want to keep him, maybe they don't. So I'd make a call and just find out anyway.
Okay, I think Alec Burks went to Colorado, didn't he?
Ooh.
I believe he did, which means Eddie House, by the way, would like him too, because he would play for Tad Boyle. All right, who you got at number 4?
All right, number 4, I wanted to throw OG Anunoby on here because I think that there is a chance that the Raptors will make a crazy move, but I went kind of easy. And Jakob Poeltl. Okay, so I don't know if there's real smoke with the rumors that have been out there, and there's some pain points. One, you'd have to give up Gallinari. You could sub Justin Jackson for Peyton Pritchard in that deal, but if I'm the Spurs, I want stuff. And if they're taking on Gallinari, who has a team option, you probably have to sweeten the deal. So you're talking about maybe multiple first-round picks. And then you have to pay Jakob Poeltl next year when he could be making, $18 million per season. So you got to decide if it's all worth it and if you're invested, and you can definitely keep him. But it's undeniable he's probably the best available big man at a reasonable rate. You could overspend for Miles Turner or whatever. But if that's a real thing, and the Pop and Brad love each other and talk a lot, so I just kind of got to keep that window open.